All right, Merrimack falls to Maine 5-0 night in, and this one wasn't really close.
No, there's not a lot of good that came out of this one. Um, Talking to Scott after the game, he wasn't happy with his team's compete level from the jump. You mentioned it right off the start for the live coverage on Substack. There wasn't a whole lot of energy from this team. And from somebody that stepped into this building for the first time tonight, I could just – you got to be under control in this building with everything that goes on in here. I've heard for years one of the toughest places to play, and tonight I found out why. And tonight, like we talked about this week, a lot of guys in this Merrimack roster found out exactly why this is one of the top venues in all of college hockey, one of the ultimate home ice advantages.
Yeah, I would say timid. They looked timid. That's the word I used in the first period. There wasn't a lot of pushback. There wasn't a lot of oomph. There wasn't a lot of anything. I mean, they had trouble getting the puck out of the zone. That's why the shot attempts were 73 to 55, I think is what the final number was. Shots on goal, Merrimack held well below 20 shots. 32-13 was the final number there. So just really, I'm having a hard time pulling any positive out of this one, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe the one is
Wallstrom coming in the third period. He held down the fort.
Gets his feet wet for what would, I assume, be his first start tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought he came in, obviously, 5-0 at the time. It's a tough situation to come into at any point when you're a goaltender coming in cold after sitting around for 2+ hours on the bench, tending the door. But I thought he came in, looked okay. Maine certainly didn't take the foot off the gas in the third period after they went up 5-0. He got tested, and he got tested often, and he stopped. I think he faced, 10, 11 shots in that third period after he came in, something like that. And he turned them all away. So, again, you're looking for some bright spot to come out of this one. I guess you got a good backup or secondary goaltending performance from a guy that was not projected or was not your starting goaltender. So
yeah, I would say just it didn't look like Maine had any
problems.
Well, no, but they didn't play with any fear either. Like the D's were not afraid to get active into the zone. They were not afraid of Merrimack's forwards getting the puck behind them and going the other way. I think they could tell early on that was probably not going to happen. And that's what played into so much possession too, is they hemmed them in because the D's came down for the point. You saw a couple of times the D's were kind of wheeling around the outside of the offensive zone, controlling the puck. There was not a lot of pushback there. That's probably the most surprising part for me anyway, is the lack of compete's the only word I can come up with, but the lack of pushback, the lack of compete. I haven't seen that from the Merrimack team in a while.
No, and your broadcast partner, Mike McMahon, brought it up to us as well in the Substack chain that 2012, 2011 was the last time Merrimack team came up here and lost by 5 or more goals to a Maine hockey team.
I mean, part of that too is Maine's been bad for a number of years.
That does play into it, But also now we're starting to get into a trend, right? 2 consecutive games for this team defensively, after talking about how strong of a start they had for the first 5 or 6 games of the year, and now here you are, back-to-back games, you've given up a minimum of 5.
And I don't know, honestly, I didn't think their D-zone play was that bad. I didn't think their D-zone play was the reason for those goals, at least not from the lower half of the D-zone. The top of the D-zone, yeah, they weren't pressuring the points enough. Again, the defensemen were able to do whatever they wanted. Pucks weren't getting out. That's why they gave up 5 goals in this game to me. It was not necessarily unmarked guys. The first goal, they kind of lost a guy. I thought they competed hard below the dots. Above the dots, wasn't good enough. Anywhere near good enough. So the puck didn't get out of the zone. Maine was in the offensive zone for what felt like the entire game. And that's how the shot attempts were what they were. That's how the goals ended up.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, right? Thinking back to the second period, the penalty kill situation, right? You had a situation where Max Lundgren was flopping around in his goal crease. He lost control of his stick.
Yeah.
And then I believe it was Cole Bienz at one point was out there killing a penalty, and he lost his stick as well.
Yeah.
Or he tried to,
maybe
somebody tried to hand off their stick to Max to allow him to play the position and be as natural as possible. But I mean, there was not a whole lot of good that can come out of tonight, and I guess it's better to just burn the tapes and we go to bed and we wake up tomorrow and we'll do it all over again.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. Merrimack and Maine will be back here in the morning.